Last night took a L, but tonight I bounce back.
Good morning everyone, and welcome back to another video. Now following the USD pairs, I'm looking for intraday. I'm looking at NZDUSD, probably shorting from above here, with this being the false move. There's also the chance that we actually take this area on the far left over here, because we have a little bit of stack liquidity over here, so there's a possibility that that happens. AUDUSD could have a play very similar to the AUDCAD video that I missed a couple of weeks ago. However, there's a major liquidity pool right here. If we look on the higher time frame, this is a high from 2023. I did say in the last video that AUD had enough strength, possibly with all the fundamentals, to actually take out 71,600, which is where, well, around where this area is. On other currencies, mainly I'm looking at GBPUSD for today. This nice little hourly fair value gap after the CPI in the NFP. Keep getting confused because NFP was on a Wednesday and usually CPI is the Wednesday one. This is my top pair for the day, so I believe that we had the false move down here. We're having a little bit of a suspect reaction here off of the daily open. However, I believe that we're going to pop up. We need to see a break of structure and then move down. Euro, on the other hand, could probably do this something very similar to what GBP is, but I'm not too much of a fan of these stacked highs right here. If I was looking to eliminate people from the market, I would look to eliminate them right here. News-wise for today, we only have unemployment claims. I do also have an alert here on NZDCAD, but this area I'm not too much of a fan of this area over here. It just doesn't look the cleanest. But if assuming we sweep this high, I could see a reaction. I'm still banking on NZD weakness just because of a couple of things. Like I mentioned in the video 2 days ago, NZD was sitting at here on the quadrant. This means that false longs could be possible. So NZD getting stronger could have been a false move. And here's another telltale sign. Okay, so when we're looking at this chart here, we mainly focus on the non-commercial side of things. The amount of people getting in the longs actually decreased. It was the people getting out of the shorts that caused some of the move to be up. So the net change was positive for NZD, but based on the fact that people were getting out of the shorts. So then when we look at the commercial side of things, the commercials are probably thinking, okay, NZD is very overvalued right now. Maybe it's time to cash out of the longs. We don't look at commercial too much as intraday traders or even swing traders, because commercial are usually in positions for months or even years. But if they're thinking that it's overvalued, I'd like to listen. Okay, so we just had unemployment claims come out and it was a little bit worse for the dollar, a little bit worse than they're expecting. So they're expecting 222,000 people to file for unemployment, but a little bit more did. So what's that going to do on our fundies chart? Absolutely nothing, because the last time it was at a -2 and it's going to remain the exact same. So on the employment side of things, you were seeing a little bit of mixed results here, but the most important ones being the unemployment rate and NFP were positive. So this is getting us total score of a 2 within our ranking system here. If you'd like access to save yourself from guessing, manually trying to remember what the last retail sales did, what the last CPI did, and all of that, you can try giving ForexFundys a go, where you're going to have access to this, the COT, the modules about all of these events over here, kind of in the way of that. Some of these modules are already on YouTube. For example, inflation is economic growth and solving for X. But we also have module 2, which is the geopolitics module, which has stuff that is not actually in the charts. Shorts from all these modules are going to be dropping, don't worry. Some videos have already been released, as the orange elephant in the room, tariffs, going to release the China one.
China.
Whenever it's relevant. As I'd always say, I always recommend just try with the monthly to see if it's even worth it for you. If you find that this stuff confuses you, that's completely fine. You only tried it for 1 month. And if you're someone who only trades gold, NASDAQ, indices, it might not be the best fit for you, but you might learn something from these modules. But this chart and the COT won't do much for you. Okay, so like I mentioned before, I believe that this was the false move, and we're probably going to get that across the board on the other currencies as well. On AUD, we are rising. We're going to be gunning for this, I believe. On AUDUSD, we're building quite the trend line over here. I still believe that we gun for that high. Now, one thing to note, I did mention in one of the videos previous that once Asia engulfs London, once one side is taken, the other one is most likely to get taken. Could that happen today? Maybe. Could that happen later in the session? Sure. Just for continuation trade sakes, we're gonna forward test this. I'm not gonna take this. We're in a mega premium. It seems like this year has been the year of the continuation. So here's the continuation forward test. This fair value gap, this is the best entry that I could probably get for this. Logic being, okay, it's following bullish order flow. It's been bullish for many days. Australia is very strong, and we swept some of this internal liquidity with my idea that this is going to run this high. It could possibly get there with a continuation. The coolest thing about all the tools I find, and this isn't to brag or anything, is okay, look at the Fundys score, look at the latest COT, and how this was the top right on the real trend side of things. Look at how strong the Aussie has been since around this time. On Euro AUD, this means Aussie was super strong. On GBP AUD, same thing. AUD CAD, same thing. AUD CHF, same thing.
It's the same case. Do the same thing.
AUD USD, same thing. Okay, so I have got the alert on NZDCAD sweeping these equal highs that we had over here. Break of structure down. That's what we're looking for. Hard one. I have got an alert on the break of structure on NZDCAD. I'm not a fan of this price action though. That's just not clean to me. I think that's the false move. I'd like that reswept. We're focusing on GBPUSD this session because GBP is actually rallying right towards the liquidity pool that I wanted to be swept. So we'll see what happens. It is the strongest right now. Yesterday I was on the wrong side of the 930 move. Still not a fan of this though. Not the greatest fan of how balanced this looks. Okay, so I just got the alert on the AUDUSD long continuation forward test. Like I said, I don't like continuation plays. We're in the super premium. I'm just testing this out, see what this does, because it seems like this year has been the year of the continuation trade. One of the reasons why I obviously don't take the continuation is if I'm expecting all of these pairs to short after sweeping some liquidity, GBP, USD, NZD, AUD eventually, why would I look for the long, right? Again, it's just a continuation trade forward test. I think there's so much liquidity that AUD has, so much sell side that it has to start eventually taking. Maybe eventually this 19 score goes down, this starts becoming net shorts because everyone started to take profits and it moves out of the top right real trend. Again, I just need the sweep of this area, break down. How's the Australian dollar doing? You have been in deep drawdown in NZDCAD, which is what I was focused on earlier. Horrendous. Okay, we have swept the area that I talked about on GBPUSD. Lovely. So what are we looking for? Simple. Break of structure. Has to be a violent one. GBP is my number one pair of the day. Number two, NZDCAD. This is not a revenge trade off of yesterday, trying to make it up on the same currency. I genuinely think that NZD is due for some weakness.
2 hours later.
Like I talked about earlier. Here's a review on what's happening with AUDUSD right now, but I've also just gotten the alert on NZDCAD sweeping. Okay, so GBPUSD right now has my interest. Like I said, it was the number one pair I was watching for today. We'll need the break of structure, need a nice fair value gap. So far, that's a nice move down. I'd like this to look good on the M5 as well. I want to take more than just the M3. Okay, we're finally getting a little bit of the shift that we want. Must break and close below at least an M3. Gonna start playing around with the RR tool so I don't miss anything. We just have to wait till the fair value gap gets confirmed on the M3 or M5. We must wait 2 minutes before entering this trade. Once again, we need to wait till the fair value gap gets confirmed on the M3 or M5. That's why we have to wait. Okay, so 557 is the lowest area I can enter. I'm interested. Those are lovely M1 candles too. Did not get the greatest entry. You wait for the fair value gap. Let's see what happens if you would have got your entry. On the M5, you also have your big fair value gap there. No worries, it's a good trade. The AD forward test here, it absolutely died. Again, I'm not good at continuations. I don't really like them, but it's worth testing them. That's a beautiful M15 close. Yeah, areas to watch out for, I'm gonna say right here. It's a big fair value gap, and obviously anything down around here. Yeah, looks healthy. The price is coming up. Probably gonna pick up people who were looking to enter out of the M5 fair value gap here, which is completely fine, as long as we don't absolutely rocket upwards. You know what time's heading? 1050 to 1055 goaded times. I'm assuming we probably just wick into this, drop.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
What do we say about the goaded times? Okay, so what has happened here? M15, we have created the fair value gap, which is a good thing on our side of the trade. So liquidity sweep, reacting from this region here, create the fair value gap. I have my 1130 rules and we're kind of around entry. So this to me already is looking like a break even unless we start heading down. We'll get some volume going. We're just gonna wait, no touching this trade until 1130. So we're having a little bit of momentum to the downside, which is what we'd love to see always. Once again, can't go break even until 1130, so we're just gonna let price do its thing. Hopefully we close below this suspect region that I talked about earlier. Now, this thing could probably drop until these exact equal lows here. But what we're gonna do is hard roll the stop loss here. And if we get hit at 2%, we get hit at 2%. Fundys side of things, GBP, who's the one who was under the bearish trend for last week? The only one was GBP, and the only one who, while there was longs, there was also some people shorting. Made a lovely fair value gap on the M5. Okay, so I've rolled my stop loss, and we're out.
Who do you think you are? I am!
Given one of the positions I entered was a little bit lower, it's about 1.95%. Happy with that, like Big Sean would say.
Last night took a L, but tonight I bounce back.
Could I have held it longer? Of course I could have. I could have held it to the equal lows that I talked about earlier, which was right down here. However, we have been swept twice now this month.
Twice!
This trade was right to plan, and here's a lesson once again on people who might have been waiting for the fair value gap. This I don't want anyone watching to see. Given that I target 2% minimum, this is how you could have gotten into this trade. I talk about playing around with the RR tool, and it's for a reason. A lot of the times people might try to enter right here. Had you waited for this, does your bank account know that you missed out on 2.83%? No. Does your challenge? No. Does your funded? No. With this being the nearest price target pool, I already have my stop loss in mind, which is 725 right here. Now I place the region on where's the minimum area I can get 2% at, which would be 557. I know I got in a little bit lower on one of my accounts, so it ended up being like 1.95-ish R. So that's the way that you get in without the fair value gap entry. Lovely trading Thursday, which has always been my historical best day. Do your journals, make your data. It has been your boy. Peace.